Listener question I wanted to address. It was interesting. They were talking about the 46 defense. He's talking about Jim Johnson, but really you think about the Bears when you think about the 46 defense, okay? And he was asking me, what's the difference? Or what are the challenges in offensive lineman between like the 46 and what today's running the nickel fronts? Well, the 46 was a true 8-man front. You'd have your nose, who's like a 2-gapper. You have 2-3 techniques, okay? And you'd have the Sam linebacker walked up on the tight end. You'd have the strong safety usually outside the Sam linebacker. So you had these guys on the line of scrimmage. So you're looking at about 5 across, okay? And then, 6 across, linebackers in the back, the Will and the Mike. Man coverage, cover 3, but you're 3 deep, right? So three sections of the field, cover 3, cover 1. So what are the challenges there? The real challenges are everything is happening in confrontations. There's so many confrontations happening in the line of scrimmage. And with that strong safety, if you want to, you could fire that gun. You can run like a Sam Mike. You can run a Sam strong safety. And you can run that. If you're on the Sam on the tight end in man coverage, you can still run the strong safety Mike. You can really start attacking the offense on their side of the line of scrimmage because more often than not, you're not going to have a player in place. This is back when we run a lot of 21 personnel, by the way. Player in place that's going to be on the line of scrimmage to attack that strong safety. That strong safety can play on our side of the line of scrimmage if he wants to. Now, it's not always the best because you can pin and pull, you can trap, you can do all these things, but it does add to the immediacy of confrontation. And what we've always talked about on this show, when you're talking about the trenches, you want to enter into a confrontation on your own time frame. When somebody else is forcing you to rush, that's when things become very, very difficult. So that is, I would say that is the immediate problem with running a 46. When you look at today's nickel, you have different personnel, and so you take out a linebacker, right, add another DB. In nickel defenses, you can have any number of people on the line of scrimmage, but generally the principle is, for a lot of years it was bend but no break. So we'll have like a 5, usually a 6-man, but even sometimes a 5-man box, and we're playing quarters coverage or some sort of shell defense with 2 guys deep at least, right? And you're you're basically saying, I don't think you guys can drive 80 yards without making mistakes, and we'll settle for a punt at the 50 and we'll reload. The 46 was, you're not going to run the football in a running man's game. Like back in, especially in the 80s, you think about when they created this, like this is Rob Ryan. Buddy, Eagles, Rob. I think Rob was there. Anyways, this was running football back in the NFL. And you're not going to run the football. And we weren't sophisticated like we are now from a scheme standpoint in the passing game, where you had all these answers. You just, we're going to go 4 wides. We're going to take out a fullback. We're going to put in 2 tight. We have 2 tight ends. They're both pass catchers. So there's so many different permutations to offenses now that running a 4-6 defense would be reserved for like short yardage goal line. Now, I'll say this. I love when you run a tight end attached. I love to put a guy mugged up on him and press him off the line of scrimmage. Just you think about a Gronkowski, you think about a Waller, anybody who will play attached that's a good pass catcher. The hardest thing for them to do in a 3-point stance is get off the line of scrimmage if you've got a big, strong guy right in their face. So I generally like that to disrupt that player because I think that player is so important in today's NFL. You can do that with a bigger safety and nickel. Now, what do you have? If you have 3 wide receivers and a tight end in, the guys in the slot, like you still got an issue with being able to bring the strong safety off the side or the nickel off the slot because now you're running a lot of stunt stuff where it's not really a run game deal, right? You're going to have some pass answers in the offense if you start running a lot of blitzes off of like one side, especially if you're always running to the slot because that's where that extra man is going to be. But the concept of running that mug look at tight end, I actually really like that if you have a person that can do it off the line of scrimmage because you can still, especially if you want to bracket that guy, that's the guy that you can bracket. You used to see this against Patriots used to do this against top-level players where they would, even if they were split out, they'd bracket them. They'd bump them off the line of scrimmage. Maybe the outside linebacker would bump and then come late, but you're really trying to disrupt that guy's timing and rhythm, right, depending on what kind of routes they run with the quarterbacks like. So there's elements of that, especially in the aggressive at the line of scrimmage play that I really like. But realistically, to install that as your base defense against a team that's running anything but 21 personnel be really, really tough to do in today's National Football League because of the talent you have at the quarterback position. But I think more importantly, and this is kind of what we were talking about before, these coaches these days, I mean, Matt LaFleur would Hope you enjoyed that talk, guys. Hit me up, Mike168 on Twitter or X, Process to Perform on Instagram, and subscribe to that YouTube channel, Process to Perform. Block Party's out. Thank you, guys.